We're reading from Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, Karma Yoga, read from text 14. So, why we should perform sacrifice? And if we don't offer to Lord, we'll become not only thief, also sinners also, both. Thief and sinful both. Why? Why everything belongs to Krishna? There is explanation. If we don't give Krishna, then we are stealing, thief. That is sinful activities. Why? Then 14 and 15 verses explaining how everything belongs to Krishna. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjannat anna sambhava yogyat bhavati parjannat yogya karma sambhava. Annat, when the annat, this type of word, annat, this from. Annat, from grains. Bhavanti, grow. Bhutani, the material bodies. Parjannat, from rain. Parjana means rain. Anna, of food grains. Shambhava, production. Yogyat, from the performance of sacrifice. Bhavanti, becomes possible. Parjanna, rain. Yoga, performance of yoga. Karma, prescribed duties. Samudbhava, born of. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced from performance of yoga, and yoga is born of prescribed duties. Now, question, why everything belongs to Krishna? That we have to offer. A gross example, this is our body. From where it comes? If we don't eat, we lose our body weight. So all living bodies subsist on food grains. From where the food comes? From the rains. So the ultimate cause is rain. And rain is not the ultimate cause. Rains are produced by the performance of yajna. So ultimate cause is yajna, sacrifice? No. Some are created yajna also. Yajna is born of prescribed duties. I don't think it is very difficult to understand. If I'm responsible to someone and he is responsible to another, he is responsible to another, so naturally I am responsible to him also. I am responsible to my father, and father is responsible to his father. That means I am also responsible. I have some responsibility for my grandfather also, and grandfather's grandfather. So I am also responsible for all of them. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great commentator of Bhagavad Gita, writes as follows. Je Indra Adi Angattava Sthitam Yagam Sarveshwaram Vishnum Abharcha Tat Shesham Ashnanti Tena Tat Deho Jatram Sampadayanti Te Shanto Sarveshwarasya Yoga Purushasya Bhakta Sarva Kilvishai Anadikalo Vibridhair Atmanubhava Prati Bandhakoir Nikhilai Papoir Vimuchate Vimuchante. The Supreme Lord, who is known as Yoga Purush, or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifices, is the master of all the demigods, who serve him as the different limbs of the body serve the whole. I'm reading again. The personal beneficiary of all sacrifices is the master of all the demigods, who serve him as the different limbs of the body serve the whole. Demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna are appointed officers for managed material affairs, and the Vedas direct sacrifices to satisfy these demigods so that they may be pleased to supply air, light, and water sufficiently to produce food grains. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods, who are different limbs of the Lord, are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. So, we know vaccine. Vaccine, if we get a vaccine, only in future disease will not come. But vaccine cannot cure present disease. Or medicine can cure, but it cannot give immunization. But Krishna consciousness give both treatment and immunization both. When there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to material affection. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reactions for past material infections, which are impediments to the progress of self-realization. On the other hand, one who does not do so continues to increase the volume of sinful action, and this prepares the next body to resemble hogs and dogs to suffer the resultant actions of all sins. The material world is full of contaminations, and one who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord is saved from the attack, whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. Food grains or vegetables are factual eatables. The human being eats different kinds of food grains, vegetables, fruits, etc. And the animals eat the refuse of the food grains and vegetables, grass, plants, etc. Human beings who are accustomed to eating meat and flesh must also depend on production of vegetation in order to eat the animals. Therefore, ultimately, we have to depend on the production of the field and not on the production of big factories. The field production is due to sufficient rain from the sky, and such rains are controlled by demigods like Indra, sun, moon, etc. And they are all servants of the Lord. The Lord can be satisfied by sacrifices. Therefore, one who cannot perform them will find himself in scarcity. That is the law of nature. Yoga, specifically the Sankirtan Yoga prescribed for this age, must therefore be performed to save us at least from scarcity of food supply. Now this chain is not finished here. Chain was all living to subsist on food grains. Food grains come from rains. Rains come from yoga. Yoga comes from prescribed duties. Now, from what the prescribed duties come? The chain. 14 and 15 verses is a chain. Not the chain, will say actually it is a circle. From what the karma come? Karma brahma bhavam vidhi brahma akshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yogi pratishthitam. Karma, work. Brahma, from the Vedas, Udbhavam, produced. Why people are doing yoga? Because it is written in the Vedas. Vidhi, you should know. And who has written the Veda? Brahma, the Vedas, Akshara, from the Supreme Brahman, personal Godhead, Samudbhavam, directly manifested. Tashma, therefore, Sarvagatam, all pervading, Brahma, transcendence, Nityam, eternally, yajna, sacrifice, pratishthitam, situated. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personal Godhead. Consequently, all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. I hope it is clear. So from God come Veda, and from Veda comes Yajna. So Yajna comes from God, and from Yajna comes Yajna means prescribed duties. Rains, and from rains come grains, and from grain our body. So everywhere Lord is there. Without Lord self, nothing will happen. So He is the ultimate beneficiary. Jagartha, that is the third verse, 9 verses. Jagathat karmano. To explain the 9 verse said, Jagathat karmano. Everything should perform to please Krishna. Why? This is the explanation. Jagarthat karma, or the necessity of work for the satisfaction of Krishna, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of the Yoga Purush, Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of work in Brahma or the transcendental Vedas. The Vedas are therefore course of working directions. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called vikarma, or unauthorized or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. As one has to work in ordinary life, but with the direction of the state, one similarly has to work under direction of the supreme state of the Lord. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said, Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nishashitam etat Jat Rig Veda, Jajir Veda, Sham Veda, Atharva Angirasha. The 4 Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Jajir Veda, Sham Veda, and Atharva Veda, are all emanations from breathing of the personality of Godhead. It is quoted from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, for as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, the Lord has the omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing, and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. We should always remember that the conditioned souls in material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his all so-called enjoyment. মানে ক্লাস দিচ্ছি একটু 10-15 পর কথা বলি না এইজন্য বসে আছি It is a chance for conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yoga by becoming Krishna conscious. Even those who are not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yagas or karmas. Now, you can see there is a cycle. Already understood? Like from Lord, Veda, Yaga, Jaga, after Jaga, rain, grains, and we eat. Human being, and human being should serve Lord. Then it is a cycle. But if human being is not serving Lord, then cycle is not complete. So it is coming from Krishna, it should go to Krishna again. Then cycle will complete. We're using electricity, giving the bill, the cycle will come. But we're using electricity bill, not bill is paying, then electricity will not come. So already you have understood this cycle, chakra. Ebang pravartitam chakram no unuvartayati haja aghairindriya rama mukham partha sajivat. Evam das. The 14 and 15 verse. What is explained? The das. Pravartitam established by the Vedas, chakram cycle. Evam chakram. The cycle is explained in 14 and 15 verse. No unuvartayati haja. No, not unuvartayati. Adopt. Iha in this life. Ja. One who is called Aghairindriya Rama. Agho Ayu. Whose life is full of sins. Agho means sin. Aghashur. Ayu means life. So whole life is full of sins. Aghayu. Indriya Rama. Indriya Rama means opposite of Atma Rama, who satisfied in his senses. That means satisfied in sense gratification. Mogham. Mogham means uselessly. Partha, O son of Pita, Shahi, Jivoti lives. My dear Arjun, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. The Maimonish philosophy of work very hard and enjoy sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yoga is absolutely necessary. One who does not follow such regulations is living a very risky life, being condemned more and more. By nature's law, this human form of life is specifically meant for self-realization. In either of the three ways, namely karma yoga, jnana yoga, or bhakti yoga, there is no necessity of rigidly following the performances of prescribed yagas for the transcendentalists who are above vice and virtue. But those who are engaged in sense gratification require purification by the above mentioned cycle of yoga performances. There are different kinds of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious work. The yoga system is planned in such a way that sensory conscious persons may satisfy their desires without becoming entangled in the reaction of sense gratificatory work. The prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord directly carried out by the demigods. Therefore, the yagas are directly aimed at the particular demigods mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, it is the practice of Krishna consciousness. Because when one masters the performance of yagas, one is sure to become Krishna conscious. But if by performing yagas, one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes. One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness. Now, those who are not following this path, they are called Indriya Rama. Indriya means satisfy in this sense gratification. But opposite is now from 13 verse up to 60, this called Indriya Rama. Now from next verse, Atma Rama, opposite. Tu, but. Now explaining about Atma Rama. Jastu Atma Roti Revoshat Atma Tiptasya Manavaha Atma Revacha Santishkas Tasya Karja Navidyate. Ja, one who, tu, but. Atma Roti, taking pleasure in the self. Roti and Ram is same only. Roti means attachment, Ram means ananda pleasure. So Atma Roti means taking pleasure in the self. That means Atma Ram. Eva certainly Sat remains Atma Tripta, self illuminated, self satisfied. Cha and Manavaha, a man. Atmoni in himself, Eva only. Cha and Shantushta, perfectly satiated. Shantushta. Tasya his Karjam duty na vidyate, does not exist. Na vidyate. So those who are Indriya Ram, they have to work. But those Atma Ram, they have no dealing with this matter, all this food grains, all these things. That is telling, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, he does not need to eat. Whose human life is one of self-realization and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. This is not his duty because he is Atmaram. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed an effect of many, many thousands of yoga performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Such a Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangement like wine, women, and similar infatuations. He has nothing to do with this. He is not needed all these things. Noivatasya kritanartha na akritina iha kashtana na chasya sarvabhuteshu Koshit artha tapasritaha. No, never, ever, certainly. Thus he is kritina by discharge of duty, artha purpose. No, not. Akritina without discharging of duty. Iha in this world. Kashchana, whatever. No, never. Cha and us of him. Sarva bhuteshu among all living beings. Koshit, any. Artha, purpose. Vyapasritaha, taking shelter of. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work. Very nice point. He does not need to work anything, and he has nor has he any reason not to perform. No need, and no need, there's not has any reason not to perform. So nor has he a need to depend on any other living beings. He can do and he cannot do. But why he should not do? There is no reason for that also. There Krishna had established he should also work. Though he is not needed, still he should work. That is gradually established, Krishna, that not only he, I also work. That is it is karma yoga. Krishna want to establish everybody should work. Why and how? A self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and expect activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following verses. A Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. So, with the discussion is karma yoga. Arjuna's thought, I should become devotee, why I should work? Now Krishna is explaining, everybody should work. Without work, nobody can survive. And if he does not do, then he is called Indriyaram. His life is his living only for incurring sin, and ultimately he will suffer only for living for that purpose only. On opposite hand, those Atmaram, then no need. But for them, no need of not doing work also. So that is why everybody should work. And then not only that, big personalities like Janak, he was Atmaram. He also performed. Whatever Atmaram person, I am personally Krishna. I am not responsible for any activity, but still I am doing. So why? This person do work to guide others. And another problem, if they don't work, other will follow him and they will go to hell. And that Atmanam person will be the cause of their going to hell. He is not responsible, but actually by following him, Krishna is not telling him, Krishna is telling me, if I don't work, by following me, other will go hell and I will be the cause of their going to hell. That is why I also work. In such a way, Krishna is trying to establish everybody should work for his pleasure. Okay, I think Namra Sita Mataji has question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanvat pranams to you. Maharaj, the 17th verse, this line, his duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord. Self-illuminated means over here, means what?
Self-illumination means light, knowledge. Self-illumination, he understands within himself. No need of help from other, because Krishna will give him knowledge from within. Illumination, what comes to light, and light means knowledge. The self-illuminated means he understand within himself. He has not to go other place.
So his duty becomes self-illuminated. That is, knowledge becomes illuminated. But then
Yes.
his duty becomes self-illuminated.
Whatever he is doing, he's whatever he is doing, he is doing only for Krishna's satisfaction. Like he cannot do any work for that he will go to hell.
Hmm.
Atma Tripto. Atma Tripto, self-illuminated means actually self-satisfied. Atma Tripto. Tripto means satisfied. The Atma Tripto is self-satisfied and self-illuminated is same meaning here.
Hmm.
Is clear?
Yes, Maharaj. Okay. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Haribol, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki, Gaur Premanand.
Hare Krishna, Ishrita Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you so much for your kind Kirtan Seva.